Today what I'm going to do is talk to you about practicing failure and how to help our teens do that in a way that makes them more resilient as they grow up, and also help them realize that failure is actually the path to success, and that success doesn't happen overnight. And I try to embody that for my clients and my athletes, and if we can all find our own stories of failure and show that and share that with the students, I think living by example is the most important way to help our students kind of understand. So what I wanted to do today was work out a bit of a framework for how I see failure and how I help clients and athletes cope with a failure, and a quick little model. So typically I get a couple of hours to do this, if not a full season with an athlete or in a training series. So for me to get about 30 minutes, I'm going to squeeze it in as much as I can, but every time I present, my goal is to have you walk away with an action-packed understanding and an ability to go on and take one concept and hopefully help a student. So I'm really confident that we're going to be able to do that today. If you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. I have permission to go past 2:30, so we will have time for questions and answers, but I only have 6 slides, and this is one of them. So don't worry about, getting your pen and paper out or anything like that. This is a lot of just more dialogue and conversation. So one of the things that I want to break out for you guys is this idea of failure. So if you imagine failure, it's more of the observable failure that happens at the top of an iceberg. So the things that we can see in a failure is a bad grade, a mistake, something going wrong. It's an observable failure. And that's really when our students start to feel bad about themselves because others have noticed or seen what we're not doing well at. But what I want to talk to you guys about is a framework to understand that in a way that you can go off and talk to your students. So failure really is a result, in my opinion, of fear and perfectionism. So there's 3 types of fear that I really break down for students and for parents to help them understand how they're acting and where they're coming from. So when you act from a place of fear, we tend to get results that are very either we're avoidant, we're anxious, or we get burned out. So what happens when we are making decisions from fear is that we get the results that we don't want, but it's because we don't know the foundation of where it's coming from. So if we start to understand where does the failure come from, and if it comes from fear, and if it comes from perfectionism, we're more able to understand, and we all know change comes from the roots. Change does not come from fixing the grade. Retesting isn't fixing the failure. What's fixing the failure is fixing the foundation, which is perfectionism and fear. I guarantee you, even your worst student, your most truant, defiant, oppositional student is some level perfectionist. Because they will never be able to reach the level that they want, so they just don't try. So perfectionists are all or nothing. So for the select few perfectionists who can actually rise above and achieve everything, they do really well until they fail and they crash and they burn. For the students who are perfectionists but they've never reached success for whatever reasons, they start to learn helplessness and hopelessness. And so when we're talking about perfectionism and failure, I want us to just take the assumption that every single one of our students that you have in mind right now, because you want to think about that student when I'm talking, it'll help you apply this idea better, is that they are some level of perfectionist. Even the most difficult, truant, oppositional, defiant kid. The perfectionist is not the straight A, attractive athlete, necessarily. It could be the kid that never shows up to school. Because if they can't get decent grades, if they can't find clean clothes to wear, if they can't find breakfast to eat, if they can't take care of their basic needs, because they can't even do these things, they can't even rise above, then I'm not going to do any of it. The kids that are more resilient in overcoming these things are kids who are not perfectionists. They're good enough people, right? So we want to strive for good enough, because good enough is where we need to spend 85% of our time. I'm going to say that again. 85% of our time needs to be a good enough effort. The other 10 should be better, and the last 5 should be the best. Okay? So if we think about it as a pyramid, I knew I was going to use the whiteboard. You know, it's not. Okay. So if this is how we think of it, this is the good enough, this is the better, and this is your best. 5%, 10%, and 85%. These are the most resilient kids. The perfectionists want to spend 100% of their best, so they just don't do anything. Or they do so much they burn themselves out. Okay? So we're starting to picture that student in our